This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
This storm is churning its way along Florida's eastern coast right now, and throughout the next 2 hours, we're going to bring you the new information as it comes into our newsroom and take you live to the front lines of this storm. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rebecca Vargas, and a special thank you to those of you who have evacuated from Florida's east coast, and welcome to our community here on the Suncoast. Let's get right to the latest information with meteorologist John Scalzi. John, how is it looking so far this morning?
Yeah, I think considering what it could have been, so far things are looking very good, not only for us here on the Suncoast, but also for the east coast of the state, where most of the strongest winds, in fact, virtually all of the strongest winds, have remained offshore, as has the eye of the storm. It continues to lift north, and we're far from being over with this storm, but it has stayed offshore of the Kennedy Space Center, which is a great news. About 40 nautical miles offshore right now. The core of the strongest winds, the 120-mile-an-hour winds, remain to the north and to the east, but some of the stronger rain bands now approaching Kennedy Space Center, where they have had some pretty strong gusts. They've had some 80-mile-an-hour gusts on top of the towers at the Kennedy Space Center. For us locally, I got some good news for you. Because the storm is far away, because it has kind of decreased in intensity a little bit, we are looking at a dropping of our tropical storm watches for our area. And the tropical storm warning for Hardee County will be dropped shortly as well. We'll watch some of these rain bands kind of pushed back in our direction today, and we do have a chance at seeing some rain bands move through that will produce some gusty winds, but I think things are much improved over the course of the afternoon for us. Not so for the coastline of northern Florida. I think the first coast, which is just up here at the border between Georgia and Florida, is the most likely location for some greater damage a little bit later on in the day. This storm is, from its present position near Kennedy Space Center, going to take most of the day to get up to our Florida border. As it does so, it's going to just pile water up along this concave coastline here. And there still is a storm surge potential of 11 feet in this location, which would be historic for that area. Forecast track continues to take it north, then curve it back out to sea. Eventually may be a threat to us. Look at some of these wave heights associated with this storm. Near the center of circulation, 32-foot wave heights, just tremendous. Closer to coast, I looked at some of the data buoys right along the coastline here, and we're looking at about a 14-foot wave right around the Fort Pierce area, and then on up into the first coast location. As far as our weather for the remainder of the day, doesn't look too terribly bad. Check it out. We're looking at about a 50% chance of a passing shower or two, decreasing wind speeds. The biggest threat for us is still going to be that choppy condition out in the waters, and certainly mariners stay in port. We'll have more details coming up in just a few. Back to you, Rebecca.
Thank you, John. We want to take you to the roadways now. We'll take a look at traffic here on the Suncoast. Be aware, though, that although the East Coast has seen a lot of gas being taken up, here on the Suncoast, several gas stations are closed because they no longer have gas. So make sure to get gas this morning. Bradenton and Ellenton gas stations are seeing that happening a lot right now. So far on the roadways out of Palmetto, the bridges are clear. So is the interstate this morning. 41 is looking pretty good, 301 as well. As you head into Sarasota, I'm not seeing too many issues. Looks like there's some traffic building, though, on University this morning as you head out east, especially around Lockwood Ridge Road, that intersection at University and Lockwood Ridge. Other Sarasota roadways are clear this morning. As you head down into Venice and Northport, we are not seeing any accidents, any issues, but make sure to fill up on gas as soon as you can this morning. Well, nearly 300 people are now confirmed dead in Haiti in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. But there are so many isolated parts of that island that rescuers haven't gotten to yet, and the number could grow substantially after sunrise. As floodwaters recede, more deaths are being discovered. United Nations peacekeepers are now in Haiti helping out with the rescue efforts. Haiti was hit hard, not just with the loss of life, but with property damage as well. Well, Florida Power and Light is working around the clock to keep the power on across the state and repair the outages that are happening here in Florida. 15,000 restoration workers are in place to help. Here you see video right now from Juno Beach as the lights flicker outside of a hotel in the strong winds and rain there. According to FPL PPL's website, more than 300,000 have been impacted by power problems so far. And back here on the Suncoast, conditions are calm so far this morning, just as John was saying. This is a live look right now you're seeing from Bayfront Park in Sarasota. You know, it is dark right now. It is quiet, which we are fortunate to see. Hopefully no choppy winds or choppy waves to come. Well, President Obama is now granting Governor Scott's request for a federal emergency declaration in Florida. Under this declaration, FEMA will provide additional funding and emergency aid to areas affected by Hurricane Matthew. That's in addition to the local and state funding to assist counties that are most at risk during this hurricane. In addition to Florida, President Obama also declared a state of emergency in Georgia and in South Carolina. Scott is giving updates also around the clock as Hurricane Matthew skirts the coast. He will have a 9 a.m. update on this storm from the State Emergency Operations Center in Tallahassee. You can expect to hear the latest damage estimates, power outages, and safety information. You can watch that news conference live on our website at mysuncoast.com. Again, that starts at 9 this morning. Well, in light of the hurricane's expected impact today, Governor Scott has also announced state offices in several counties will be closed. That includes Manatee, Hardee, Pinellas, Hillsborough, and Pasco counties, as well as several counties along the East Coast. Sarasota and Charlotte counties are not included in this list. Governor Scott is encouraging people in the storm's path to prepare their homes, check on their loved ones, and evacuate if necessary. The Manatee County offices are expected to remain open today, but the tax collector's office and Manatee Department of Health will be closed. Now, the Suncoast is a temporary home for several East Coast Floridians this morning. We have shelters that are open just for people seeking safety from the storm. Sarasota County declared a local state of emergency just so that it could open an evacuation shelter for evacuees only. So it is safe here in the county. It's at the Englewood Sports Complex. Charlotte County has opened a pet-friendly shelter at the Harold Avenue Park Recreation Center. And in Manatee County, emergency management officials opened 5 shelters. Note that Braden River High School is open as a shelter specifically for East Coast evacuees. And the shelter at Nolan Middle is for those with special needs. And again, we want to welcome those East Coast evacuees who are waking up here on the Suncoast this morning. More than 50 are waking up at Manatee High School. Dozens of residents from Fort Pierce and Vero Beach also taking advantage of the county's shelters. One mechanic from Fort Pierce brought his wife, 4 kids, and several brothers and sisters. He said they had no other options.
Actually, we've been looking for a hotel, but everything is not vacant.
They're all booked?
Yeah, all booked up. I got no place to stay tonight, so that's why we're looking for shelter.
A couple of the evacuees also brought their pets along with them. We were able to catch up with a few people from Vero Beach yesterday evening staying at the Hyatt Regency. They came here to safety with their dogs in tow, and as they hung out in the lobby after the trip across the state, they told us how they feel about this massive storm heading right toward their home.
Scary. But you know what? There's nothing we can do about it. That is life. We love Florida, so we're going to live here.
The Hyatt usually accepts smaller dogs under 50 pounds, but during emergencies like this, they waive the rules. It's so great to see everyone coming together to take care of everybody else. Well, supplies are dwindling as the storm approaches. This includes much needed life-saving blood. The blood supply is already at dangerously low levels on the Atlantic coast. Blood banks have had to cease collections through the hurricane, but they're still in need of blood. Our parent company, HCA, has hospitals from Miami through Orlando and all the way up to Jacksonville. We've been communicating back and forth with those areas to see if they've been evacuated and how we can get those patients over to the West Coast and care for them appropriately. The hospital says they've been contacted by the HCA. The supply levels are increased with hurricane preparedness. And unfortunately we're going to take
Unfortunately, right now we're in a shortage, so we're asking the community to come out, help our local patients, and then hopefully we can collect additional units to help those who are directly in the path of the storm.
All types of blood are needed. Donations will be sent to the Atlantic coast as well as down to the south to the Caribbean following the devastation from Hurricane Matthew there in Haiti and in the Bahamas. Well, with Manatee High School and Braden River High School currently being used as shelters, all schools again in the Manatee County School District will remain closed today. All school activities and extracurriculars will also be canceled in Manatee County today. Sarasota County schools will remain open. However, all school extracurriculars will be canceled. Charlotte County schools will remain open as well. The storm has also led to Friday night football games across the Suncoast to either be delayed or canceled. That means tonight's football Friday night here on ABC7 is canceled after the 11 p.m. news. We will return to regular football coverage next Friday night. Well, taking a look statewide now, while Hurricane Matthew has yet to make landfall, people in New Smyrna Beach are already dealing with damaging winds and heavy rain. That is where we find ABC's Lauren Lister. She joins us now live in New Smyrna. Lauren, how are the conditions there right now?
Rebecca and Stephanie, you can see that they are really impactful. The rain is pelting down. The wind has become major consistent gusts. And then behind me, you can see that the water is rising and has already submerged this dock. That eye of the storm just 50 miles from the coast of Florida. The Category 3 hurricane with winds up to 120 miles per hour, intensifying its impact right here.
Hurricane Matthew barreling towards Florida. The brutal conditions intensifying as the eye of the storm taunts coastal cities. Overnight, violent winds along the beaches, gusts in some places clocking in above 70 miles per hour. The storm bringing the look and sound of fireworks in the form of downed power lines. Thousands facing outages. Officials fearing up to 3 million may end up in the dark. The National Weather Service saying Matthew will be devastating. Florida's governor making this dire warning.
Unfortunately, this is going to kill people.
Already it has. Matthew taking the lives of more than 100 people as it swept through Haiti. The death toll there skyrocketing as the floodwaters recede. And Matthew battering the Bahamas before heading for Florida. Residents Thursday preparing, filling up those final sandbags. Stores are boarded up, their shelves bare. More than 3 million people urged to evacuate here and in the Carolinas, some refusing to go.
Everyone left town, everything's boarded up, and I'm just waiting.
But many getting out, clogging the highways for miles, while nearly 4,000 flights have been canceled.
And more than 300,000 people now dealing with those power outages, including us. Another major concern, the storm surge, expected to be 6 to 10 feet or more in the areas of the Florida coast where we are. And the waterway I showed you before, let me show you again, because it is rising. It is completely submerged, this dock. Just a few hours ago, you could just walk right out on it, and it barely lapped up at the bottom of your shoes. And this is why so many residents here are fearing that coastal flooding, concerned about what it means for their homes. Rebecca and Stephanie.
Lauren, you said the concern there is with the storm surge. Are there any other big concerns people should know right now?
Well, here, to my knowledge, and with residents I spoke to earlier and the owner of this hotel, they had not been told that they needed to get out. So this is considered an area that is okay to be. People are hunkered down in this storm, but of course the power is out, so people need to heed concerns about that. If that means down power lines, then people need to make sure that they stay away from them. And as Governor Rick Scott urged yesterday evening, they need to stay away from standing water. Don't walk into standing water. And then, of course, the wind. If you're in an area with those damaging winds, get away from those windows and make sure that you're somewhere safe.
Okay, thank you, Lauren, reporting live for us on the East Coast. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, well, John, we're going to come back to you when we get back with the latest on Hurricane Matthew. We're seeing a live look right now. That was Local 6 in Orlando, showing us just what the conditions are like there in the Orlando area. We'll be right back.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. Replacing your windows will not just beautify your home, but save you big bucks on your energy bills. I've done the research. I've seen the factory. New South Window is my hands-down choice.
New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
Get to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today for deals worth celebrating during the Jeep Celebration event. Come shop the area's largest selection of Jeep Wranglers or check out a new Jeep Cherokee priced as low as $19,999. Stop by to see the stylish new Jeep Renegade starting at just $17,699. Or drive away in a new Jeep Patriot for just $14,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Christmas Tradition by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
We're catching air and hitting the dirt in one of our craziest segments ever. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. We learn all about BMX racing, and we'll take a field trip to the BMX track. There are plenty of surprises. Daredevil Bello Knock joins us to give us another fantastic stunt right here in the studio. Plus, Suncoast for sale with affordable living, and Curry Station joins us in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Currently, we're looking at wind speeds outside our door that are not all that strong, coming in northwest at about 16. Our tropical storm watch for coastal Sarasota and virtually all of coastal Manatee County as well has been discontinued. They discontinued Charlotte County yesterday. I think we'll also see those watches and warnings be discontinued from south to north across the west coast of Florida as we head into the next 12 hours or so. 79 degrees the air temperature, a fair amount of cloud cover out there. We've had a few scattered showers. So the latest on Matthew. This is a tremendously interesting storm. It has been a Category 3 storm or better for about 7 days now, without decreasing below that intensity. Pretty remarkable storm on a forecast track that is also rather unprecedented, similar to a hurricane we had called David a long time ago, but nowhere near the intensity of this storm. Hurricane hunters still classifying it as a Category 3 storm with 120 mile per hour winds, but flight level winds just a little above that are stronger. So there's indications that this system is not going to weaken anytime soon, or perhaps even gain in intensity. Northwest northwest motion coming in at about 13 miles per hour. Okay, it's been a long day. The storm continues to lift northward, probably inching a little closer to the coastline up near Daytona Beach over the course of the afternoon. By around a little after lunchtime, it'll be getting very close to Daytona Beach. The cone is really narrowing for this area. So far, everything has stayed offshore in terms of the eye wall, the strongest winds, the heaviest downpours of rain, which is great news. It still has to get further to the north, though, and in this concave area of geography of the Florida-Georgia coastline is where the highest storm surge is now forecast. Probably around an 11-foot storm surge if it stays closer to the coastline. 115-mile-an-hour winds by the time it gets up toward Daytona Beach. It is forecast to start encountering a little bit more shear as it heads up toward Georgia. And that may do a couple of things. That may actually expand the wind field just a little bit. It may also produce a little bit more rainfall up in this location. But then look what it does. As we head into the middle of next week, forecast models are becoming into good agreement with it looping back around. Now, too early to tell whether it'll impact us. It probably won't. It'll probably head to our south. In fact, the consensus of computer models shows that. But nevertheless, it will maybe inject some more moisture into our atmosphere. So if I look at the tropical impacts of what we can expect here on the Suncoast, for me, still, the highest probability of disturbance to our lives is going to rest in the rough seas that we have over the course of the afternoon and really even into the evening hours. And in other words, bad boating conditions. Just stay in port, no windsurfing, that sort of thing. Windy, 15 to 20 mile an hour wind, no big deal there. Maybe some higher gusts and rain bands, though. We'll have to watch for that. Maybe some 40 mile an hour gusts, still below kind of severe thunderstorm limits. And we don't have much of an issue with tornadic activity because we're too far away from the eye of the storm. So basically, we need to count our lucky stars, I think. We're doing very well. There's the eye of the storm heading up toward Kennedy Space Center, located about 40 miles offshore right now. We don't have a whole lot of activity, haven't had a lot of rainfall around here. We have had some pretty decent gusts, but right now just light showers in parts of Manatee County. The eye of the storm itself producing some very heavy rainfall in these spiraling bands. It went through an eye wall replacement cycle, looks like, and now it's getting a pretty good circulation around that new eye wall, if you will, with some heavy thunderstorm activity moving onshore toward Kennedy Space Center all the way up to Daytona. Gusty winds there, approaching hurricane force, sustained, but certainly gusting to hurricane force. There's the core of the strongest winds and heaviest rain, and it's offshore. We love that. Hopefully it'll stay that way throughout the remainder of the afternoon. No way to know yet. As I mentioned, bad boating conditions, gusts of 40 out there on open waters. Northwest wind at 20 to 25, kind of subsiding a little bit maybe as we head into the evening. 50% chance of showers today, breezy, high of 89. Tomorrow looks to be great. More sunshine, some drier air moving in, and less wind around as well. Back to you.
Thank you, John. That's some good news to hear this morning. On the roadways, be aware that we are not seeing any issues in Palmetto and in Ellington, but we are already getting reports of gas being completely out at several gas stations in Ellington and in Bradenton. So if you can fill up on gas just to be better safe than sorry this morning, get to it. Make sure you do that. Right now out of Bradenton, we're not seeing any problems, no accidents, fortunately. Right now at 301 and State Road 70, just looks like some volume picking up on State Road 70 eastbound. In Sarasota, 41, 301, and the arteries out to 75 are nice and clear. The interstate still accident and delay free all the way down into Venice and Northport this morning. Well, still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, we continue our coverage of Hurricane Matthew. We will show you some more of the travel concerns you need to be aware of before hitting the road or the airport this morning. You are seeing a live look right now from Daytona Beach where the winds are whipping.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, we make sure you get the most for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And right now, you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet. A new 2016 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month, complimentary maintenance included. At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
The kitchen is where life happens. Minnesota Flooring now offers a wide variety of beautiful quality craft-made cabinetry to make sure the heart of your home reflects your style. Visit us today.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Welcome back. It is 5:25, and now Facebook has activated its safety check as Hurricane Matthew impacts the U.S. ABC's Candace Gibson and Mara Schiavicampo has the details.
In today's Tech Bites, Hurricane Matthew triggers a social media safety system.
Facebook has activated its safety check for anyone in the hurricane zone.
The check-in tool will allow users to inform their friends across a social media platform that they're safe with just one click. Snapchat is getting ready to go public. According to the Wall Street Journal, the photo-sharing app's parent company is working on an IPO, putting the value at $25 billion.
The report says the company is hoping to sell shares by March. Snapchat has over 100 million daily active users. And Verizon is now working with drone makers to connect their devices to Verizon's wireless network.
So here's the deal. Prices for the plans are roughly in line with what customers pay for data. Having a data plan will allow drones to connect to the internet and stream all that material back to the ground.
Very cool stuff. And those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Cat's Pride.
Now, Mrs. Whiskerbottom, why do you say you feel trapped in a cat's body? She says she wants to be making more of her own choices.
I give her her own room, and she still chooses to sleep on my head.
She says she'd start with a new litter without any perfumes. The smart choice is Cat's Pride, Fresh and Light Ultimate Care, unscented, hypoallergenic.
Okay.
Cats are complicated. Great litter is simple. Look for Fresh and Light Ultimate Care in the green jug.
Did she just say, thanks, Mom?
No, she's saying the word tuna.
When you've got nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Here's Pepto-Bismol. Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Get to Kohl's Thursday through Monday because friends and family like you take an extra 20% off. That's on top of already low sale prices store-wide, which makes fleece for him only $14.39 and for her just $9.59. Everyone gets Kohl's cash too. Now that's the good stuff. Kohl's.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7.
They got dirt piled up, no monitors. The county promised us. It's almost like anything they promised us, they've taken back.
A sidewalk improvement project in the Talavas neighborhood is digging up old fears about a beryllium plant and dangerous contaminants. I'm Alan Cohn. We'll have that story plus our roundtable discussion.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello, I'm Whitney Stewart, the current National Boys and Girls Club's Youth of the Year.
And I'm Haley Wilkes, news anchor for ABC 7. Please join us for the Women in a Changing World panel discussion. You will hear from a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, senior vice presidents from Disney and Tupperware, a New York Times senior writer, and an Alaskan Native poet.
For more information, please visit womeninachangingworld.com.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5. The all-new mysuncoast.com. Just another way we're here for you.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little Sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning. Welcome back. I'm Rebecca Vargas.
And I'm Stephanie Roberts. Our storm coverage continues with Hurricane Matthew picking up speed and battering Florida's east coast. Fortunately, though, the effects on our area have been fairly minimal, although I will tell you, having just driven in, that the winds are plenty gusty, especially if you are headed over area bridges. So that'll be something to keep in mind this morning.
We've been very fortunate. We want to go to the man of the hour right now. John has been keeping track of this very closely. John, what are we looking at right now?
Yeah, well, right now we are looking at some very strong winds moving into areas around the Kennedy Space Center, that's for sure. We have extreme wind warning up for this area of Brevard County because we've had some wind gusts at the tip of the Cape, which is luckily an unoccupied most part area and certainly evacuated, of over 100 miles per hour, 110 gusts. Now, you got to think of that as a tornado, basically. That's a tornado-like wind, very strong stuff. So we have already had some hurricane-force winds onshore now in the form of wind gusts. This core of the eye wall right up here, this kind of convective burst around the eye wall rebuilding, is now getting close enough to shore that it can really create some high surf and some damage along the coastline. Will be interesting to see how Kennedy Space Center's buildings survive that, because they suffered damage in just a Category 2 storm a while back, and this is a Category 3 storm. A lot of thunderstorm activity surrounding this area. We've even had a pop or two of lightning. You don't want to see lightning around the core of a hurricane. That indicates some impressive towering thunderstorms and the potential for eventually some strengthening, perhaps, or at least some maintaining of wind speeds over the course of the next couple of hours. Now, as it closes on Daytona Beach a little bit later in the day, it is forecast to perhaps move a little bit further inland by a few miles. And really, the thing is about one of these hurricanes, a distance of 20 miles closer to the coastline makes all the difference in the world in terms of wind damage. Also, we're going to see some in this concave coastline, higher storm surge, possibly as high as 11, 12-foot storm surge, if it maintains intensity as it moves upshore. Because the eye wall has not been over land, we haven't really seen that kind of interaction with land that tends to weaken a storm, so it's maintained its strength. Interestingly enough, in our area, we are below our predicted tide at this time at Port Manatee because we've had some offshore winds. Now, later in the day, we're going to get an onshore wind, but even so, our high tide occurs late enough in the day when the wind should start to subside that we have no issues whatsoever with any kind of storm surge across our region, but that's not the case inland. Now, our wind speeds have decreased the potential for tropical storm winds, so the tropical storm watch for Sarasota County, for basically Manatee County, although the break point is Anna Maria Island northward, has been discontinued. And the the tropical storm warning for Hardy County also being discontinued. Great news for us. Expect about a 50% chance of showers today and breezier conditions throughout the afternoon. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, John. Taking a look at traffic on the roadways. Winds definitely the concern this morning. We are not seeing any volume at this early hour at 5:35. Things look good in Bradenton. Of course, schools closed in Manatee County, so that'll likely mean some light volume on the roadways this morning. Extra caution needed up and over the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. It is still open at this hour. Through Sarasota County, we're seeing a little bit of volume there northbound on 41, but for the most part, it's going to be a pretty quiet start to the day, I suspect. There's a lot of people taking a little extra time and maybe not going anywhere they don't need to go this morning, despite the fact that things are quiet weather-wise across the Suncoast. Looks good in South County as well. And if you need gas, don't put it off. We are hearing reports that there are stations without gas in the area, especially in Manatee County, and that's got to be mostly because of the influx of people to our area from the east. Even though we're not having the storm per se giving us a lot of problems here, there's just a lot of extra people here, and we're glad they're here as a safe place to be.
Definitely, and so make sure you get that. In Ellington especially, there are several that are already out of gas. Well, Hurricane Matthew has already killed hundreds of people in the Caribbean and prompted officials to urge evacuations for upwards of 2 million people in southeastern U.S.
Yeah, the storm is just getting started impacting land. Florida is, of course, the first state to feel Matthew's impact. Reed Binion reports from the East Coast.
A region accustomed to hurricanes. The storm battering Florida well into Friday morning. Officials reporting widespread power outages as Matthew's outer bands hammered the coast. Cars cramming roads and a highway exodus as many residents evacuated. Some in the state waiting until the last minute to leave.
I've never seen the ocean before on this side of the country, so I figured if you want to see it for the first time, why not do it in a hurricane?
Are you going to get out of here soon?
Of course, of course.
Others choosing to stay.
We're prepared for it. We're going to hunker down and stay with it and do what we got to do.
This despite dire warnings from Florida Governor Rick Scott.
You know, you can always rebuild things, but I'm worried about your life, your family. Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate.
Scott adding that Matthew could bring devastation on a level not seen since Hurricane Andrew struck nearly a quarter century ago. Forecasters also expressing a very high level of concern. The National Weather Service warning that some locations may be uninhabitable for weeks or months. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
All right, and Hurricane Matthew is affecting more than just the people in the monster storm's path. It's also causing headaches for millions of travelers across the country now.
Yeah, more than 4,000 flights impacted so far, and it is grinding air travel to a halt. We can expect the ripple effect to continue across the country today on the normally busy air traffic over Florida skies. Much quieter. Look at that time lapse. It's a very interesting look at the picture. Many are worried about what they left behind, but people are certainly happy who were able to get out of this storm's path.
Home's a home, but our family is all safe, so we're feeling pretty good.
Hunkered the house down and left, and that's all you kind of can do is just hope for the best.
Airport officials are urging customers to check the flight plans throughout the entire weekend, even if you're not flying north into the storm where it will end up in the Carolinas. The ripple effect will continue to cause cancellations.
Yeah, and in the Tampa Bay area, most flights have not been impacted due to the hurricane. All flights flying into and out of Sarasota, Bradenton International this morning are on time with no issues of delays or flight cancellations. In Tampa, any flights heading to the east side of the state have been canceled. That includes Spirit and Southwest Airlines flights to Fort Lauderdale and American Airlines flights to Miami throughout the morning.
Miami International reports that if it remains open because that storm, of course, north of Miami, but the airlines have ceased operations. They expect that to change this morning. Jacksonville, a very different story. All arrivals and departures have been canceled. Fort Lauderdale, though, is expected to open today at 11. Orlando will be closed throughout the day until tomorrow. And if you do have Tampa plans, guys, just keep in mind they're watching the winds there.
Listen up if you plan on filling up your tank this morning. There are reports again, as we said, across the state of gas outages, even here on the Suncoast. According to AAA, it's not a matter of supply. It's actually the demand causing these problems. Governor Scott says Florida has enough gas for 6 days, but if your favorite gas station runs out, getting a refill might not happen until after this storm passes. East Coast ports that help disseminate gas across the state are closed right now and might not open again until Monday. If you can fill up in your neighborhood, it's probably a good idea to do so as soon as you can.
Well, Florida Power and Light is reporting thousands of outages across the state, of course, mostly clustered on the far east seaboard. Downed power lines like you're seeing here in South Palm Beach, as well as high winds and fallen trees, are leaving more than 250,000 people across the state in the dark. The worst area right now is in Brevard County. It's got more than 133,000 outages. Palm Beach County reporting about 49,000. Here on the Suncoast, a few hundred power outages here and there, a little over 200 in Sarasota County, just a handful in Manatee County, and a few down to the south in Charlotte County as well.
Wow, 133,000.
Yes,
in Brevard.
and it is just getting started. John, it looks like that wind field's still offshore for the most part, but I think we're going to see it getting closer.
It is getting closer, and some of those wind bands are now, creating some hurricane force winds right along the coastline in the form of gusts. So, and 100-mile-an-hour gust at the Kennedy Space Center is pretty impressive. Thank goodness it's been offshore, because you remember other storms that producing millions of power outages.
Right.
Wilma being one, and when power was out for weeks down in South Florida, with that storm. So I'm very glad that it has been offshore. We still have some big wave heights out there in the Atlantic. We still have the possibility of some large storm surge. And something we haven't really talked about an awful lot is the heavy rainfall potential for parts of North Florida and also the Carolina coastline. So we'll be talking about that as well. Locally, things are looking pretty good for us, though. We dodged a bullet on this one here locally. No
Moisture wrapping around the top of the storm. How much of that's going to dump back down into our area?
You know what? I'm thinking more about the moisture that comes about 5 days down the road with this storm.
We're not ready to talk about that yet.
I know.
When it reappears.
Too soon, right?
Too soon.
Yeah, we're going to have some showers around today, and we'll talk all about that coming up in just a few.
All right, sounds good. Our storm coverage continues. Stay with us. It is 5:41. We are tracking Hurricane Matthew.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. Replacing your windows will not just beautify your home, but save you big bucks on your energy bills. I've done the research. I've seen the factory. New South Window is my hands-down choice.
New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
Get to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today for deals worth celebrating during the Jeep Celebration event. Come shop the area's largest selection of Jeep Wranglers, or check out a new Jeep Cherokee priced as low as $19,999. Stop by to see the stylish new Jeep Renegade starting at just $17,699. Or drive away in a new Jeep Patriot for just $14,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Since 1928, Karastan has been setting the standard in carpets and rugs, producing non-allergenic wools that won't promote the growth of bacteria or dust mites like other carpets will. Karastan wools actively remove contaminants from the indoor air, making your home healthier. And there are many colors and patterns and textures to choose from. Come see for yourself.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Getting older shouldn't mean giving up all the things she loves to do. It should just mean, well, finding new ways to do them. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to provide help with personal care, housekeeping, and of course, meal preparation.
Oh, that smells so good. Oh, and it tastes good too.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Thanks to my volunteer, I am a better eater.
Thanks to my volunteer, math seems simple now.
Thanks to my volunteer, I discovered new career goals.
I'm a volunteer for Sarasota County Schools, so I know I can make a difference.
and you can too. Give an hour, change a life.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
It's 5:45 and we are looking at a live picture from Jensen Beach there, where it looks like now things are relatively calm. That is coming to us from WPBF. The heart of the storm, of course, north of there right now. And we're going to turn now to meteorologist John Scalzi to find out what we can expect from what is still, John, a dangerous Category 3 hurricane.
Oh, indeed it is. The good news is the warnings, the watches, everything tropical associated with this storm for us here on the Suncoast have been dropped. And Anna Maria still has technically a tropical storm watch, but that's because the break point heads that far south and wants to include Pinellas County. So 80 degrees our air temperature. It's warm and steamy with a dew point of 73. We still have some breezy winds out there, and certainly we still have some impacts, mostly marine, I think, today, with some really choppy, rough conditions out there actually on our waters. Northwest wind coming in at about 20, but you could certainly have some gusts out there on open waters up to 40 knots. So, I mean, the further out you go and the further north you go, the stronger the wind gust. Matthew, still 120 mile an hour storm moving to the west, to the north-northwest at about 13 miles per hour. That little westerly component to the forecast track means that it will be affecting the coastline with some strong gusty winds, but hopefully with a more northerly component, the core of the system will stay offshore. I'm not sure that'll have a large impact by the time it gets up to Jacksonville. It's really too early to tell that yet, but certainly the potential for some storm surge once it gets up here by later in the day is a concern, especially up toward the Georgia coastline at the border of Florida and Georgia. By 2 p.m. we have a 115 mile an hour forecast intensity as it gets up near Daytona Beach. And then we're kind of going to be watching this storm in the long term, actually. This is an amazing storm. As I mentioned earlier, 7 days as a Category 3 storm or better. And now it looks like it may reemerge from its trek up the east coast of Florida and up the coastline of the Deep South as perhaps a tropical storm that may impact Florida down the road. Too early to tell that yet, but it's certainly worth considering. Also, it's not the only player in town, by the way. Hurricane now a Category, Nicole now a Category 2 storm, and forecast to lift north, perhaps some of its moisture influencing eventual tracks of what's left of Matthew. You can see this occurring here. Matthew probably heading toward the southern tip of the state. But like I say, it's too early to tell. But just an interesting little side tidbit there for down the road with this storm. We may actually get some more moisture headed our way a little bit later on. For us today, the tropical impacts of this storm, mostly in terms of boating. Do not go out of port today. Still some rough seas out there. You could have some 14-foot waves a little bit further off the coastline. For us here on shore, a 15 to 20 mile per hour wind, rain bands, some brief downpours possible throughout the day today, and the potential for some gustier winds contained within those rain bands. Okay, obviously the heaviest impact of this storm is in these bright orange rain bands around the eye wall, where they have had some gusts at some of the towers at the Kennedy Space Center, which are a little bit above ground, but still some 100-mile-an-hour gusts there, and frequent reports of gusts up to 74, up to hurricane force strength right along the coastline from about Kennedy Space Center northward. We don't have a lot of influence here. We're kind of on the dry side of this storm right now, so we're not getting a lot, just a few scattered showers around. But as the storm system whips back its moisture, we may see a few showers a little bit later in the day. Big, heavy thunderstorms now moving into the area of the Kennedy Space Center, and the winds onshore make this area a particularly vulnerable location, what we call the First Coast, just up at the Florida-Georgia line. storm surge potential there could top 11 to 12 feet. So we'll continue to watch that through the afternoon and into the evening hours. Long way from done with this storm. Beach and boating forecast calls for heavy winds out there, 20 to 25 knots on open frictionless water. So boaters stay in port, could have some stronger gusts as well. Breezy today with winds subsiding late in the day and overnight. The weekend so far looks pretty nice with lower relative humidity, cooler temperatures, and a lot more sun. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Taking a look at the roads this morning in Palmetto and in Ellington. We're not seeing any issues out of either the bridges or the interstate this morning. Nice and clear. Some building volume there on State Road 70. Pretty normal to see that this morning. 41 and 301 clear, though, from Bradenton down into Sarasota County. No issues to report in Sarasota County whatsoever. 41 clear, as well as the interstate. Be aware again that they are running out of gas at a lot of the stations in Bradenton and Ellington this morning. We're getting reports of that. So if you can fill up, get a chance to do that this morning or throughout the afternoon, I would do that because there is demand for gas this morning.
Yeah, a lot of extra people with us.
Oh, yes. And as part of our coverage around the clock, ABC 7 has one of our own meteorologists right on the east coast of Florida throughout the night.
Yes, we're going to go live to Josh Stone now. He is in Fort Pierce, and he's had a firsthand look at what Matthew's been doing overnight. Josh, tell us what you've had to go through in the past couple of hours there. The heart of the storm north of you right now.
Yeah, it's been quite an evening, to say the least. I really have an appreciation for Mother Nature. I understand it. I've studied the dynamics. I have my master's in, the science of meteorology, but to see firsthand the power of one of the most powerful storms on Earth is quite magnificent. And last night, we're talking about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, Matthew, the hurricane force winds got within, I think, 7 miles. I was in touch with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan very closely last night. The strongest bands, or of the at least the outer eye wall, got within 7 miles of where I was, and I'm located right now in downtown Fort Pierce, which is located on the East Coast here in Florida, and that eye wall basically scraped very close to where I was. Now, officially, I guess no hurricane force winds were reported, at least around here. However, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those gusts got close to that. And obviously, I was kind of, you want to be realistic about it, I was really not that close to the eye wall. I mean, 7 miles is kind of a far away stretch, but if you got a storm that has 130 mile per hour sustained winds at that eye wall, and I was just 7 miles from that, the wind gusts were actually terrifying. So it was great to see that this city of Fort Pierce, the people here, there was no one on the street, and people heeded the warnings, and fortunately, looks like they escaped the worst part of the storm.
All right, Josh, thank you. We appreciate you being out there. That is Josh Stone, our meteorologist, live in Fort Pierce, and that is actually south now of where the heart of that storm is. It's going to continue to move up the Cape Canaveral area where we do have extreme wind warnings. Yes. John said they've reported gusts over 100 miles per hour there in that area. So that is still, we've got a lot still to go with Hurricane Matthew. Friends and family hopefully staying safe up through Daytona and Jacksonville. You're looking at Jensen Beach right now, which is south of where the main area of the eye of the storm is offshore. So Jensen Beach pretty much done with the most severe impact of Hurricane Matthew. We're going to keep our eye now on the Cape, on Daytona, as it moves north through St. Augustine and Jacksonville. And this is going to continue into the Carolinas throughout the day today. And our storm coverage will continue as well.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. We hit the BMX track for stunts and surprises, plus Daredevil Bello Knock in the studio with us and Curry Station in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Gold fever has once again swept the nation. And everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. Introducing the $5 million Gold Rush Doubler. We're doubling cash prizes for over $752 million in payouts. And 36 prizes from $1 million to $5 million. The Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
Matthew, still a Cat 3 storm moving up the east coast of Florida. We have to watch this storm throughout the day. It's going to be a long haul for those East Coast residents. For us, watches and warnings have been discontinued.
Good news here. All right, we'll have all the day's top stories and more on our Hurricane Matthew coverage after this.